All right, so what's up today? We got some cool stuff to play with. Today, we are doing exploratory surgery on this old Zenith carburetor. Old school. This is what's called an updraft. Check this out. This is the old fuel line. Use the flare fitting. And a copper tube. No rubber here. What's neat is I think somebody's been in this thing fairly recently. All the screws are loose. They're not seized up, nothing seized up. I mean, this is clean. This is real clean. So if somebody tried to get this old engine to run, ready to see what's inside. Uh-oh. Something's jammed up. Well, I see the float. Just how do you get this off? It's got this thing in the way. The throttle slide is in the way. Oh, there we go. Wow, that's pretty neat. That's most of the bowl is nothing but float here. Inside of it. That's as simple as it gets. One jet. Let's see if the jet's loose. Whoa. This is cool stuff. Ah! It's not even clogged. Look at that. That's pretty stinking cool. So, that's where the jet was located, right there. See if you can get a good look on the inside. The inside's kind of trashy looking. If you can see, right here, that's where the fuel goes in. Goes up this pipe here. This is so simple. It's the choke. Turn that off and shuts it off. That's the throttle plate. I've always wondered why they do updrafts though. Like why did they do updrafts back then? Because all the old carburetors were like this. Anybody know? Anybody in the comments can tell me? Got some quiet people today. Am I muted again? Nope, I'm not actually muted. Feel free to jump on and say something. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings none. If you try, YouTube will take care of you. Whoa, that's another jet. This thing has 2 jets. That's neat. So it must have a, yeah, it does. It has an idle circuit and a main boost circuit. Wow, that's neat. I didn't know they had stuff like that back then. I didn't think that technology came along until a lot later. Wow, look at that. It's not even clogged. That is so cool, man. I mean, you would have to get this custom made by a machine shop. I would dare say. I'd be surprised you could even get these anymore. As heavy as it is, it feels like it's probably made out of cast iron. This is probably a cast iron carburetor. It's wild to think that somebody made their living with this machine at one point in time. As simple as this thing is, you could probably stick it in a machine and it would work. We might have to do that one day. The engine this thing came off of, I'll put this thing back together so I don't lose the pieces. The engine this came off of is an old Fairbanks and Morris stationary engine. And it's not the ones that you normally think about. It looks like, the engine itself looks like an old Briggs and Stratton. Except it's huge. And what I like about it, the way it's designed, is it the cylinder head comes out. The cylinder head and the cylinder sleeve come out like a motorcycle. So if you ever wanted to actually get this engine bored and restored, you could easily. I'm not gonna mar that up. Yeah, that works still. That's neat. That's what I love about antique stuff, man. It's just so simple. Everything was so simple back then. And everything was so overbuilt too. Like when they made this carburetor, they were not worried about cutting cost. They were worried about making a functioning carburetor. That's why they use cast iron. They're like, let's just make it work. That's so cool. And this is the idle screw here. Still works. Yep. Alright, the next cool thing on the docket is this. This is an old fuel filter. So fuel would come in through here. There was a little drain. This, not a drain, but this is a valve. This is your shutoff valve. This was attached to this. The fuel came in through here and came out there. But what it would do, it'd catch in this little bowl here, and all the sediment would come to the bottom. So that way you keep your carburetor clean. That's so neat to me that this carburetor is clean. I mean, it's cast iron and it's painted. That's one heck of a paint job. There's just no telling how old this is. I'll have to look it up and see. There's no telling. This is supposed to come off. I doubt this works. Oh. Wow, that's impressive. Wow. That's impressive. Okay, so this looks like aluminum. Yeah. It's coming through the top. And came out through the side. This was the filter itself. It was just a metal screen. I actually would like to use this on my motorcycle. Here's the gasket. Love to have this on the Harley. Just for the cool factor of what this looks like. You know, I might put this. Might see if I can make this work on that Yamaha that I'm working on. So slick, man. So simple. And you could wash this out and throw it back in and keep going. Golly, man. Let's put all this. See if we can get this off. This needs to be serviced. Oh, that's not going to happen. Well, maybe we can just work this back and forth. Y'all, I need a sonic cleaner really bad. Look. Maybe some evapor rust. Really would have to make a new one of these. Looks like the threads are bad. I don't think they're salvageable. What's up, yo? I can see you. Or not. Not really. I can't see you unless you comment. Well, that sort of works. Scroll it up. Push it back down. This would look cool sitting under a motorcycle. I'm going to have to figure out a way to make this work. Just the antique, the vintage factor. All right, it's clean. Ready to rock and roll again. I think this has a little bit to be desired. Screw it out. So turn your fuel on. Screw it back in and shut it off. Man, that didn't take much at all. I think this screw right here is the packing. Yeah, I felt it tighten up. Wow, look at that. Ah, look at that. Open it up. Close it. That's super cool. When you're ready to service it, you loosen this. Pop that off. Clean your trash out of your little bowl. That's your seal. Clean your screen. If any debris. That's where fuel goes in. This is where the fuel goes out. This is genius. There you go. I mean, everything back then was made to be serviceable. It really was. They really thought about. I mean, man, you could keep this going for hundreds of years. I mean, obviously not hundreds, but 100. This is probably close to 100 years old. I mean, other than the oxidation that's on it, which, I mean, you just clean it up and paint it. Paint this part here. But I bet you this valve even works. As long as it seals around the shaft here, that's... I don't know how you would change that packing. You have to be able to take this valve apart. But I bet you this was just flared out. This piece, this rusted piece, was pushed on, and this was flared out. Because this looks like brass. Yeah, it is brass. So I'm guessing you could just cut this rusted part off and unscrew this and put some more material in there, packing material. Which, I mean, you could take string. I mean, yeah, for real. What's up? What's up, Dad? Probably put string in there. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Let's see if I got any of this left. So there we go, man. Good as new, ready to go, ready to be put back on, thrown into service. And I mean, somebody, the previous owner must have gone through this. This is just so clean. Or maybe when they took it out of service, there's no telling what this engine was attached to. Maybe when they took this thing out of service, they gave it a good clean. But I mean, there's no trash in here at all. I'd be fully confident putting this on an engine and it running. I mean, you couldn't tune it to the engine. Whatever you get's what you get. Just due to the jets not being. No, I didn't get it running. That motor wasn't meant to run. The guy who owns it is pulling it off of his mini bike, and he's just going to stick it on the shelf. Well, y'all, my precious wife's calling, and she's going to call back in a second. And that's really about all I have for today. So, got to see an old Zenith carburetor, and you got to see an antique fuel bowl. Don't break it. And a really cool spark plug. Look how big these things are. And this is considered a small engine. I bet you this would fit in a Model T and run. But well, that's it, man. And look, remember, you guys are awesome. You're never a mistake. You're not a failure. Even when you make mistakes, you're not a mistake. And I'll see you guys when I jump back on live again. And y'all have a blessed afternoon. Later.